Oh boy. Here we go.
Last episode on Rogue Squadron Podcast. I hate this. Yeah, fuck off. That was all the last episode. I hate this. Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of episodes, so. All right, everyone. Excitement happens. The record button. The recording button is being hit now. Jesus. Can't do it.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Hello, what have we here?
Those guys are so funny.
Hello. Oh, there's a C3 penis face and R2 dickhead.
Hello there. Looking. Found someone you have, I would say.
May the force be with you. Fucking A. You guys.
Oh my God. Good day, Galaxy. Rogue Squadron Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Oh, man. That was so much fun.
Yes. That was, if you noticed, we did some extra special stuff because this is our 4-year anniversary episode 130.
Hell yeah.
So we asked all of our Patreon members to yell at us and sing our theme song along, and we were going to splice it together, and that's what you just heard. So
it was a joy listening through all those and piecing everything together. We had some. I'm going to put everything in full at the end of the episode, so you can hear what these guys sent us in full, all bloopers and all, and it was absolutely ridiculous. It was a blast, man. I think the one that was actually spot on was Logan's Yoda impression. Everything else was absolutely ridiculous. And Dane trying to do the Wookiee yell was...
He just sounded like he was gargling salt water. Like,
oh gosh, I know. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. So thanks, guys, for being patrons and digging the show and staying with us and sending that over. Is a lot of fun. Makes it extra special. I can't believe it's been 4 fucking years, man.
Yeah, 4 years. Is it to the day?
Actually, yeah, it worked out that it is to the day.
Well, that's easy to. What am I talking about?
Extambulate.
Extambulate. No, today's my mom's birthday. So
very nice.
An easy one to remember. Yeah, 4 years, man.
4 years and 4 studios, I think.
Yeah. So recently, my girlfriend listened to one of our most recent episodes, and she got all caught up. And then she went back to the intro shit, the first pilot stuff. I was like, just hold on to something because it's gonna be bad. But
yeah, it was fun,
cool.
man.
It's cool braving doing that, going all the way back and listening, and you it's noticeable how much we've grown. And how we flushed stuff out and brought other stuff on, and it was a mess back then though, because it got sloppy.
Yeah, well, we were drinking way too much and weren't even a Star Wars show at first. Yeah. We just put the mics on and we didn't know what we were going to talk about. We opened with the BT Bam song, and then we started talking about the walking stick in the corner and some guy walking outside of the window from my old apartment. We didn't even really know. And then we played music in the background the entire time, like Van Halen and Metallica and shit.
I do remember that because I was just like, put on some Panama. I'm going to burn a school building down.
Yeah. Because that's how we always talk about how it got rolling in the first place. We always have music on. So we wanted some music in the background, but it took a while to find the actual background music that we use to this day.
Yeah.
Man.
4 years it's a long time.
It's a hell of a time.
So thank you guys.
Thanks
for
everybody.
Tuning in on this episode 130.
130.
Like we mentioned, Patreon page.
Did we mention?
Which did happen in about the past 6 months ish is when we really started bringing that stuff on.
Yeah, about August, I think. Yeah.
So if you guys are fans of the show and would like to support us, you can head on over to the Patreon page.
Nope.
You can search Rogue Squad Pod or Rogue Squadron Podcast. You'll find us.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can do whatever you want. $1 a month, or you want to do the $5 tier, buy us a beer a month. That'd be awesome.
30 or 50 or whatever.
50, yeah, 50 beers a month.
20,000 Republic Debt
$300 if you want.
So yeah, we had a cool group call that we did with everybody earlier today, which those end up going up on YouTube and on the podcast feed, and they're a blast because it's us times 8 because there's so many of us in there, just being as ridiculous as possible.
But it is cool to hear from everybody, and those get posted up a week after they happen, right? On YouTube.
No, on YouTube they go up. They go up right away.
Cool.
It'll be up
so
tomorrow.
if you ever want to be a part of that,
you can do it.
The way to go.
You can do it. Yeah.
You can do it. So we've got an extra special episode. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, even though it's not big on like Star Wars news. There's a lot of cool things that we can talk about. So
still waiting on that Solo trailer.
Yeah, we are still waiting on the Solo trailer. It's not going to come out ever. The movies, if it's fake. It's not real.
Yeah, the trailer is going to be on the special features on the Blu-ray.
Yeah,
for everybody.
Man, I cracked open the Ahsoka book. Good so far. I'm very happy because I always like the Ahsoka regardless. So yeah, it's cool to see her and have a complete story from her point of view. Is always, it's awesome.
Yeah.
We will be discussing. Mopar watched Rogue One last night, and I sat there and was just like, this is fucking awesome. And I just even the criticism that you guys or anybody has about the movie as a whole is so good, and it is like a fan service film, but I'm a fan, so I fucking love it.
Yeah,
I mean, just thinking about a quick thing, the fact that we see Vader and he has a castle on Mustafar. Are you kidding me?
I can't believe that made it in.
Oh my god, I can't believe they did that.
That's some crazy shit. Yeah,
that's so cool. But I'll discuss that in depth here in a little bit.
Which means we're gonna have to re-rank everything now too, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna re-rank because Mopar. I am pushing Rogue One up, which means something has to fall. So I am gonna make a hard decision here.
I think it's gonna be Empire, but I'm excited to see.
Yeah. I watched. I think it was called Myths and Monsters. Myths and something. It was about they were discussing kind of how myths come along and stories that we all know, like Hercules and Adam and the Round Table or whatever the hell Ass Jack is. But there's a hero template that they used, and they even referred to Star Wars, saying that even nowadays George Lucas used this template to build Star Wars. It's called like the hero's tale or the hero's journey, I think is. But it's kind of just a big circle, and it's got like you have to have this point, this point, this point. But I would like to go through those bullet points and kind of discuss how close was Lucas's A New Hope to because it's when you start reading through, it's like God, it is right fucking on.
Yep.
So we'll be pounding through that.
And same with Rey and Force Awakens too. We can
do the same thing.
Yeah.
Not too many other things. There was another ranking that I saw on ranker.com. It was the top 10 most destructive Star Wars super weapons.
Ooh.
And just to give you an idea, the Death Star is only 3. It's number 3.
Ooh.
So it's a cool list. We'll go through that because there's a lot of stuff on there that's like legends.
Of course.
It's still awesome. Awesome to go through. And just a quick shout out. I put Boom Shakalaka up there because
I wonder what that was.
NBA Jam was 25 years ago.
I
think yesterday. Yeah, the release for NBA Jam was 25 years ago.
That's crazy, man.
Man, that is.
I remember multiple nights just sitting would have somebody over and would just sitting in my living room and playing NBA Jam. And all we wanted to do was run back and forth, doing dunks the entire time, trying to break the glass on the backboard. We just spent hours trying to do that over and over and over and over and over. That game was so fucking sweet.
Oh yeah, and I liked all the little like cheats that you could do because there was one cheat where you just like play as Bill Clinton.
Yeah,
and like why I would truly love if they built that stuff into games nowadays.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And I know like the Fallouts have like small little things built into the game, but it's not like a cheat code. I would love to play Battlefront 2, and we were discussing on the Patreon call. To do like a special thing where you could just be Watto and run around and like shoot Dateris at people or something stupid. I would
just make deals with people. Yeah,
I would absolutely love it. I think it'd be cool. So as we do every episode,
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka.
All right, so for those of you that were bitching and complaining, I didn't get something that I've had before. Finally, I know last 2 episodes I was strapped for time and I got stuck with something, but I saw this immediately. I was specifically looking for something for the anniversary episode, but I saw
what
this.
Is it?
It
Just
caught
tell
my
me what
eye.
it is.
Shut the fuck up, man. Preamble is important. It's from North High, which is here in Columbus, and it's all Star Wars themed.
Oh shit! Stardust to Stardust.
And I don't want to put them on blast because this is like the Star Wars font. I don't want to get them in trouble or anything, but
Imperial IPA. No, that's awesome.
It's cool. It's very, see, it says it was kind of based off of music and stuff, but they definitely used Star Wars. Obviously it's in space and they used the Star Wars font, but I was like, absolutely perfect. So I nabbed it.
Nabbed.
It.
Is that like a true word in the dictionary?
It's English.
It's a way to pick up beer. I nab it.
Nab the beer. What you got?
Yeah. Logan says, hey, look at the copyright font.
Yep.
I came across this. We went on a beer run. It is called Midas Touch.
I saw that the other day. Wow.
And the reason I picked it up is because it says it's an ancient ale. So I was like, I don't know what the hell that is. I got to try it.
Yeah.
And then I started really looking at it, and it says here it's somewhere between a wine and a mead.
Ooh.
And it's 9%.
Wow.
So I'm really excited because I don't think I've ever had mead. So I'm excited to kind of take this step towards something different.
Yeah, I did see that, and it caught my eye for 2 things. It said the Midas Touch, and I was like, is it a brake pad beer? And then it also said ancient ale, and I was like, what is an ancient ale? Never heard either of these things before.
Ancient ale. So I'm going to bust this open and do a smell test here real quick. I don't know if I ever showed you this. What? I bought this in Connecticut.
Let me see it.
It's an Anchor. It's a cast iron beer opener. Bottle
That's
opener.
awesome.
But it's super heavy. You could knock someone out with this thing.
Like your Hanan Carbonate. I think you left that here. I have it.
Yeah, this actually might be heavier because it's cast iron. So it doesn't work perfectly because it's not as sharp, but or as well made. But I don't know. I really like that.
As a throwing star and start knocking people out.
Oh yeah, yeah. If I can't open it, I'll just crush the bottle with this, and I mean it's open one way or another.
Tommy Boy. Well, we'll talk about that later. Actually, I'm not going to try to divulge topics already.
Woo! Divulge it.
Ooh, it smells very good.
Cast iron church key. That's right.
Oh man, it smells fruity. The reason that I said Tommy Boy is because he was in town for a few days this week, and there's a brewery right next to my new apartment called Hoof Hearted, which I think they named purposely because it sounds like Hoof Hearted.
Ah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard outside of Kerner's normal voice.
Everything Kerner ever says. And it's cool. I mean, they have this really goofy, cartoonish style and these dumb names for all their beer. I mean, it's supposed to be kind of dumb, just like us. So I finally had some of their beer, and it's actually really good and very, very fruity IPAs, which is what reminded me of this scent. It smells good, though.
So I got, it's got a quick description here. It says, a liquid time capsule brewed with a 2,700-year-old King's Touch. It's got malt, barley, honey, white muscat. White muscat grapes.
Muscat
and saffron.
Grapes. Wow.
So this thing's just got a little bit of everything.
This doesn't say the type. It says crafted with the most interstellar hops we could find. Doesn't say what kind they are, but we'll just say they're Mustafar hops.
Gonna taste out of this world. I'm done with that. All right. Well, cheers. We'll try this.
Cheers, 4 years, motherfucker.
4 years, motherfucker. Mother click click. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
This is okay, so I'm kind of already confused because all of those words, and this is a very simple tasting beer, which I'm not saying is bad or good. But
all the build up and the ancient ale and the brake pads.
Yeah, brake pads, you Midas Touch. Yeah, this is a very simple tasting beverage here.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's good. It's good though.
I was looking this up on Beer Advocate. I'm trying to see what the type of hops are, and it doesn't say. Because I I'm not at the point where I can taste something and then know what the hops are.
Right.
I recognize it, but I don't know the actual type. But it's very good, man. I dig it. I've only had one or two things from North High. And
I've never been a huge fan of North High, I'm not gonna lie, when I was local. But go ahead. I wanted to say that, okay?
I wanted to get that out in case anyone from North High Brewing Company is listening.
Step up your game, bitch.
I think I like their pale ale a lot. And I haven't really had much else. But so Whole Foods, one awesome thing is that they have a really, really, really good beer selection, especially for local stuff. And I've never seen a can like this. So, I mean, they carry stuff that I've never seen before. But yeah, it was good.
No, I have to actually take that back because I'm confusing North High with the other one, which got like the Saw Blade beer, whatever that. What's that? Fourth Street, fourth
string.
Fourth string. That's it.
Yeah.
I got those two mixed up. So I take it back. I'm sorry.
We love you, 4th String. I mean, we love you, North High.
North High.
So you're confusing the hell out of me, man.
I'm trying to take this beer in and really try to understand it, but it's a very smooth, easy drinking, and then it's got like a slight alcohol burn at the end. It's not very carbonated. I tried to pour it and really agitate the carbonation or whatever the hell you call it nowadays, and it wasn't even having it. It poured more like a wine.
Well, they explained like it was kind of like a wine.
That's what they said.
So maybe that makes sense. Fuck you.
We're still sarcastic assholes 4 years after the fact. That's how we started. Oh, what should we do? Go record this shit? Yeah, let's fucking dangus. Let's fuck around.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man. This is good, man. This is balanced.
You haven't said too much about it, though. So it's out of this world?
Yeah. It's intergalactic planetary. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I'm going to say about it. Intergalactic. Boys. Yep. Intergalactic planetary.
I low-key love that song, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I will bump to Intergalactic all day.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite Beastie Boys song.
All day in the car.
I don't know if we ever mentioned this on the show, but I came across a video of the Beastie Boys performing on SNL from the 90s or something.
Yeah.
And I didn't know until I saw the video that they actually were a band and played instruments and wrote the songs.
I knew they wrote the songs. I didn't know they played instruments.
Yeah, they were like guitar, drums, DJ, everything. It was awesome. I always just assumed that they, made the beats and they rapped over it. But yeah, they performed live. Sabotage. It was fucking sweet, dude. It was awesome.
No, that's cool. I'll have to look that up. We were just having a similar conversation. We were just going through YouTube, just streaming different musicians and that sort. So we were watching like a Lady Gaga, and we were talking about how good she is.
Yep.
We're kind of discussing, well, she writes all of her stuff. She's like musically talented, and like there's more to it than just being able to sing.
Yeah.
And you can tell it because if you put like a Lady Gaga song next to a Britney Spears song, Britney just sings it. She doesn't do anything else out of it, I feel. So I feel like that's something that sets someone like a Lady Gaga apart.
Yep. Yes, indeed. I was home with the in-laws, and we were watching some tribute to Tony Bennett. And she performed there, and it was incredible. She's probably one of the best performances on the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I know she did a few jazz songs with him too a few years ago.
And she sabotaged the fucking Metallica duet thing where she turned off James' mic. Remember when Lady Gaga and Metallica were performing together and James' mic was off and got pissed and stabbed that child in the front row with the mic?
She didn't sabotage him.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Didn't she fly across some shit last year at the Super Bowl? I'm not joking.
That was a serious question. That's hilarious that was. Didn't she fly across some shit, take out an ATST?
Well, if you hadn't seen it and I said, did Janet Jackson show her titty at the Super Bowl? That sounds ridiculous too, but it fucking happened.
God damn. Oh my God. No, I don't know anything about that.
I think she performed last year and she was on some fucking contraption. Anyways.
Speeder.
Speaking of, the Super Bowl's in 3 weeks. Do you care? I don't care.
I do. I really don't. I've never been a football fan in general, so it's yeah, I wouldn't watch it.
The only reason that I might watch it is maybe we'll see the Han Solo trailer.
Oh man, Travis Dunn says my frame rate's very off.
I know.
Fuck. Well, I'm gonna fuck around here.
You just keep fucking around. It's all good.
I am having a lot of trouble rating this beer. It's not great. I'm not going to sit there and even pretend that is a 3.
Yeah.
But it's such a lack of anything. There's like no taste. I'm so confused.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's very easy to drink, but
I'm gonna look this up. I'm curious.
It's almost so. Maybe this is the better way to describe this. It's more of a mouthfeel as opposed to a flavor. That's kind of what I'm getting at. That it's more of a thicker liquid because it's not carbonated, so it doesn't feel as light and bubbly. But outside of that, it drinks like an apple juice as opposed to a beer, if that makes sense.
All right, listen to this. I wonder how serious this is. It says, this sweet yet dry beer is made with ingredients found in 2,700-year-old drinking vessels from the tomb of King Midas. Does that mean they literally got a cask from this motherfucker's tomb and used the stuff that was in it? Or are they just saying...
I don't know. I hope that motherfucker didn't piss in jugs and leave it sit by his open casket, because that's what I'm drinking.
They stole his ingredients and made beer. He's not in the afterlife anymore. Don't they leave that shit in your tomb so you can pass over?
Pass over.
Cross over, whatever.
Of creeping death.
Exactly. Best song about Passover ever. They should play that in church every year. Jeez. So yeah, I don't know if they used the actual ingredients or they were just
saying those ingredients were found there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, that sounds pretty crazy. It says somewhere between wine and mead.
Yeah, it's just like the mouthfeel is kind of what I'm basing this off of, because there is very no flavor.
That's weird too, especially because it's so strong. Because it says it's 9%.
It's definitely a try it at least. I'm trying to figure out if it's going to be bumped up to a 2.
Yeah, Mogan says they leave it in the tomb so that they can use it in the afterlife. That's what I mean. Midas is up in heaven trying to get wasted, and you stole his ingredients. You can't make beer anymore, man.
Goddamn mortals down there drinking my drink in the afterlife.
It's good, man. It has very fruity smell, not as fruity of a taste as I was expecting, but you get the citrus that you expect in an IPA, and then it balances out well, and it gives you the bitter aftertaste. Not too strong in any department, which is good. And it's 8.8%, and it doesn't taste like it's that strong, so it hides it well, and it's rounded off. I'm gonna say 2. I'm gonna say solid 2.
This is a difficult one. I'm just gonna say 1 because I don't feel like there's any qualifications of a 2 that it meets, but it's definitely a try it. That's where I'm gonna sit on it. Where this is a unique thing.
Yeah,
we got Socrates over here. We dug him up and used it. Socrates.
Aristotle beer. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna sit on a 1 out of 3.
Well, that's good. It's worth trying, man.
It is, and if you're not a huge beer fan, maybe you lean towards something like this because it doesn't drink like a beer, so it's interesting. It
said it was a good mix for wine and beer fans. So maybe if you're more of a wine person, this could be your choice.
And I kind of along the same lines of what you just said, the 9%. I'm really not tasting the 9%. I said that at first, but it's considering that it's 9, and I'm not burning my esophagus.
I'm not tasting the 8.8 either. Jeez.
No, it's good.
I want to know, because it says this Imperial IPA is inspired by some of the greatest music ever made and crafted with the most interstellar hops we could find. So I want to know why they're talking about inspired by music, but it's all Star Wars. I'm going to have to go to the brewery and ask them. What the fuck, guys?
Made out of real bits of Luke Skywalker's robe. That's how you know it's good.
Speaking of beer and the Han Solo movie, we loved to do.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, just a random transition. My wife does that all the time, by the way.
Oh, I know. I've met her.
Yeah. It's so funny. She starts to notice it too. And she's like, shit, sorry.
She'll be halfway through a conversation with herself and then mention it to us halfway through. Like, I don't know what you're discussing at all.
It was like the night before she was talking about something about her Instagram and we went to bed. And then in the morning I was making coffee and I was like, do you want any coffee? And she's like, so what about that guy? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, my Instagram. And I was like, the thing that we talked about 12 hours ago.
That I don't know. I wasn't listening 12 hours ago. You
Exactly.
think I have anything to
and
say
I'm
now?
still not. So anyways, about Han Solo and about local craft beer, we love to do a beer with a brewery here in Columbus for the new Star Wars movies or events. So for the one for Han Solo, we're going to be doing with Wolf's Ridge Brewing.
So excited.
Which is one of my favorites. So no details yet. We haven't done the preliminary recipe and meeting and all that shit, but
I'm excited because I know you like that coffee one.
I've never had a bad beer. That's one of the few breweries where I've never had a bad one.
I'm trying to think of another, because I know Jackie O's is up there for me.
Mm-hmm.
Rheingeist is really good. There's a lot, man. There's a lot of good breweries now.
Ohio's killing it.
They are. They
Mm-hmm.
are.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have a bad Great Lakes a couple weeks ago.
Ooh. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of Great Lakes.
Now, Dogfish Head, on the other hand, they're kind of up there with a Stone. As soon as you are drinking a Dogfish Head, it's got to be like 8% or higher.
Yeah,
like their
do.
60-minute IPAs, like 12.5%. I can't do it.
Yeah, they do like making that shit strong. I like them strong.
That's what I was wondering, what that 90 minute, because there's a 60-minute and 90-minute. I was wondering what that's
the
for.
IBUs, I think.
I think that's where you black out after you've had one. 60 minutes later, you ain't.
Yeah, it's how many minutes until you fucking die? Yeah,
it's the countdown to destruction.
Mikey's asking about how our last beer turned out. It was good, man. It was very good.
Really good.
Surprisingly delicious. You know, Travis is here in the chat. He said he's not a beer guy, and especially not like a dark beer, coffee type of beer guy, and thought it was delicious. So we got a lot of compliments on it. So props to Land Grant for crushing it.
You guys know how I am with the super dark beers and the porters and the stouts. It was so good. It was so drinkable. That's why I was really happy with it, because I'm not a coffee drinker and I don't like porters or stouts. And it was 2 out of 2 on the strikes there. But it was so drinkable, so good. I was very happy with them. Very happy.
Yeah, and it was easy.
Land Grant's always legit.
Yeah, Land Grant's killing it. And it was, since it's coffee based, made it a little easier to drink in the morning. So when we got to World of Beer at like 9 a.m. to start setting up, we cracked a few of those open. It's delicious.
Kerner was rolling the die.
Dude, Kerner rolled like 14 chance cubes, I think, and drank. I gotta find that picture, man. The pictures of him from that event.
He's just sitting on stage, force choking the ceiling. That's what he was doing half the event. So, all right.
Oh my goodness.
Episode 130, 4 years later, still drunken bastards.
Still drunken bastards, you know it.
Let's do a quick one here. So I mean, I'm probably 3 chapters in. So I haven't spent a lot of time on the Ahsoka book, but it's a very easy read.
I feel like this is how this always happens. It's like, shit, I got this new Star Wars book, and I'm only like 3 sentences in, but I want to talk about it, and then I'm not going to finish it, and then we're going to forget about it for the rest of the show.
Well, yeah, very true. So let's just move on.
Fuck everything. It doesn't matter.
No, and it was. I think it was even in the introduction of the book where I pulled this quote from. But I love the banter that Ahsoka brings to fights, because she talks shit, and it's such like a precise talking shit that's like, ooh, I felt that one. So right off the bat, I think it's Maul starts confronting Ahsoka, and they're about to fight, and he's like derobing and getting ready for battle, and they're like bantering back and forth, yelling at each other. And he punches or throws a jab saying, "Oh, this is going to be easy because you're not even a real Jedi," because she left the Jedi Order.
Right.
And she said, well, then it's going to be a fair fight because you're only half a Sith because he got cut in half. And I was like, Ahsoka, you a bad bitch. I love this shit. Let's keep doing this. I don't even want them to fight. I just want to hear the back and forth, like a rap battle between Ahsoka and Maul. Let's fucking do it. Let's fucking do it. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was like the second page. I read that. I was like, oh, this book's going to be great. Yeah. The other thing that I didn't even write it here, but the other thing she was going through her mind and kind of understanding like what happened for her to leave the Jedi Order and all this. And then she looked across the battlefield at Maul and was kind of thinking like, what had to have happened to that guy for him to be this evil? Because she was kind of along the lines of, you're not born evil. Like something terrible had to happen to Maul for him to end up this way, which I thought was cool because he was used, abused.
Right.
Palpatine just kind of, like a dog, man. I mean, he beat the shit out of him, and
Yeah.
So I liked it was almost refreshing because it wasn't like Ahsoka looking across the battlefield and just thinking this guy's evil, fuck him. But she was actually thinking like, man, this poor soul across the way is so just engulfed in hatred. But
we don't get to see that side of things usually because when it comes to a fight like that, by the time we get there, it's just a fight. It's at the end of the movie or like the climax of an episode of a show or something like that. And it's usually just a fight. And sometimes there's dialogue.
Well, and most of the build-up's going to be, okay, good versus bad. That's what they're doing. Yeah. And once you get there, you don't have any questions. It's like, okay, we already know.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's cool to see, without dialogue, what's happening in somebody's head during the fight. What they're thinking about.
No, I am 3 chapters in, and I'm wholeheartedly happy with this because we've never really seen anything from Ahsoka's point of view. We see her banter back and forth with Anakin and Obi-Wan, and you kind of know where she stands, but it's those inner thoughts. That's why you read the books. Mm-hmm. That's why I love the Vader book, because you get to see behind the mask.
One thing I will say, so we complained about, I know how you love the Vader book, and we kind of are annoyed that it's not canon anymore. But one thing I will say from reading part of the Vader comic series is that they definitely kept his anger and aggression and stubbornness and rage. Even though that book's not canon anymore, they kept that through what they're writing for the new Vader series, which is good.
I don't even understand how they wouldn't keep it.
No, I understand. But because from us, before we started reading those comics or that Vader book, we just see the movies. So of course he's evil, but you don't actually get to see inside his head. But I'm glad that they kept that anger and rage and everything, which was, they didn't go a whole another direction with Vader, which is good. Travis is asking, we didn't see the ghost in Last Jedi like we did in Force Awakens. I don't think we saw it in Force Awakens. We saw it in Rogue One. He's asking, do you think the ghost made it into the sequel trilogy? And I say, I hope not. For those guys to live that long is kind of crazy. We do know from one of the silly Forces of Destiny things that the ghost makes it to as far as Return of the Jedi.
Really?
Yeah, so Hera and the ghost at least make it all the way through episode 6.
Jesus.
We don't know about the rest of the crew or what they're going to do in Rebels to like end them. I hope everybody dies. But I know that's so cruel.
You
but
said
like,
that nonchalantly, just like I hope everyone gets murdered.
I've been saying that for a while. I mean, it's even if
I wholeheartedly agree. It was just the way you said it.
Even if I liked the show, I think it's too perfect for them to not die at the Scarif battle. It just sets it up great. Like, and then you could watch Rebels all the way through. It ends at Scarif. Rogue One goes into A New Hope, and then you like it just ties in too perfectly for them to not do that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a perfect transition because with you mentioning Scarif, because I watched Rogue One, and I was always very happy with the movie, but I watched it last night and I just kept staring at it. Like, of course, you watch it to analyze it the first time to understand everything, and then you watch it to like criticize it, like what's bad. And it was almost like I was just watching it. Yeah, I wasn't like going in doing with it a specific agenda, and I sat there and was just amazed. Mm-hmm. The K2, literally outside of the Borgullet, I was so happy with the whole fucking thing. I liked
besides Borg Gullet, yeah.
I like how they built Jin's background, even though we saw her mom and dad just kind of briefly, and her dad plays a pivotal role, but it's not on screen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's based around just kind of her family. But they go in so many directions. They bring up new worlds, dude. That world that she lives on, where they're farmers. I love it. It's like a mountainous black desert, dude. What the fuck? That's crazy, girl. Riley says, "Girl,"
which never happens. So funny.
I was just very, very happy with it. No complaints. Like from the U-wing,
U-wing sweet.
Even though they again go undercover, they just put on a stormtrooper shit or whatever, and they go undercover again. I was like, but they don't come out. Like
right.
K2 dies,
right?
And then they jump up and Cassian gets shot, and then they all die regardless.
Yep.
Like I love this because that's war, and it makes 4 better. We've always said that, but it really, really does. Because that ending scene, and dude,
it's intense, right?
One of my favorite parts. Not only is it Vader obviously annihilating, but the lead up to it, where everything is, you hear the sirens, wow, wow, and then you hear the creaking and moaning of the metal of the ship.
Yep, that's so cool.
Like you're on a battleship, because everything's moving and creaking.
Yep,
and that's all you hear is that creaking,
so
and then
sweet.
you hear his breath. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful movie.
It is.
So after this long rant, what I'm gonna try to do is re-rank, because I think it's been pushed up ahead of probably a couple.
I would say hands down, I think Rogue One has the best cinematography of any Star Wars movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, the swooping from the battle to the battlefield,
it's incredible. So the whole way it was shot and the CGI looks better than any Star Wars movie, I think, even than The Last Jedi. Like those big open shots at the Death Star and the Star Destroyers floating in front of it, it looks real. It looks like they went in space and filmed actual ships. Like that's how real it looks. K2 fits in like they built a droid suit and had it on camera. Like it's that good.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
That's hands down, the cinematography in Rogue One is the best. It's on Netflix, so I have something on while I'm working at home, and I've watched it a few times in the past month or whatever since we've moved. The character development, obviously, that's the one big complaint.
But that's not what the movie is.
I understand. I know. And I think I'm a director too. And I think there's a little too many scenes opening into a brand new planet that we see 3 seconds of, and then we're off to something else. I think that's a little overdone. I understand, but I think they shoved a little too much of it in there. It's like we're landing on a planet, and here's a scene for 3 minutes, and now we're off. Now we're landing on this new planet. 3 minutes, we're done. Landing on this new, it's a little too repetitive. That and the character development are like the only complaints, really. The last third is perfect. The Borg Gullet is the one goofy ass thing about the movie. They say hope 14 times.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying. I was finishing off by saying they said hope 14 times.
Travis Dunn mentions the transitions were so much better than The Last Jedi. Even me and a friend talked about how Empire Strikes Back had better transitions than The Last Jedi. No, I completely agree on both aspects of The Last Jedi having clunky transitions and Rogue One having great transitions.
I'm torn on that, man. I mean, I'm not a filmmaker, so I don't know specifically.
Whoa, no, I was so pissed that and I've already sung my praises about The Last Jedi, but at certain points, it's like Rey versus Kylo, and they're floating and pulling on the lightsaber and something, and it just cuts to like a scene that doesn't fucking matter. And it's like wait,
well, you got all those things happening at one time, but you can't.
No,
I thought that was good. I thought it was good.
I thought that if they're gonna do that, do it how Episode 1 did it, where if you're gonna pull away from an epic showdown, go to something else that's equally as epic. Where at the end of Episode 1, they're jumping from the palace getting stormed by Padme, and then there's the starfighter battle, and then there's the Gungans, and then there's Maul. We've got all 4 of those things bouncing around, and I know it's a lot, but it keeps that epicness, the epicnality of it. No, I was
epicacity.
Epicnality, epicnicity. The Last Jedi I felt is still a little clunky. Rogue One, I completely agree. You swoop in, they're talking about the shield thing around the thing. You see a couple X-Wings come down, and then you swoop down to the battlefield, which is actually what's fucking happening. I was like, perfect.
Yeah, but I feel like the cuts in this shit in the first third of Rogue One are clunky also. I feel like it's way too quickly paced and it's clunky. I'm not catching on to everything. And then once they finally get to Jeddah, then you can spend like 12, 15 minutes in one spot and get this whole scene out.
Well, so the transitions themselves weren't clunky, but they just didn't spend enough time, because I felt like the transitions made sense, and they were still building the movie.
Sense, but I don't think it didn't come off as well as it could have. Because I think in Last Jedi they also make sense, but they
wait. Whoa! So let's rank this. Do you think the Last Jedi transitions were equal to Rogue One?
I had an issue with them the first time, but I don't think there's any problem with them after watching it multiple times.
Okay, I would definitely put Rogue One transitions above, and that's such a nitpicky thing to say and to even rank. But yeah, I would. I think Rogue One's cinematography and the way they shot and way they transitioned was just beautiful. It was.
There was one thing. So like we talked about how we didn't rank or we didn't review Last Jedi after our first viewing because we would be caught up with the expectations and pissed and blah blah blah, which we were. I think we came out of Rogue One really, really loving it and kind of like just awestruck by what happened. And I think that's because we had that event. It was at the theater. We were busy planning that. We were having drinks. We were hanging out with the artists and everybody. And then we were like scrambled and had to like go into the theater and just sit down and watch a movie. Like we didn't have time to think and we didn't plan like super crazy theories that day. We were just so caught up with everything else that by the time it came around to watch the movie, we just got to sit down at the theater and watch the movie. And I think it helped our mindset when we went into that thing.
So we weren't worried about like going within an agenda.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if we were earlier in the day, like we were so busy with the party and everything that when we got into the theater, we just forgot all that stuff and we're just sitting there watching the movie.
Well, it also didn't have the buildup of The Last Jedi. The buildup of The Last Jedi is so crazy.
True.
And we've already, at that point, it had been, we've already had The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
So this was an offshoot movie. So we were like questioning it, how it was going to happen, but we weren't like overly critical of it. Overly critical?
Never listen.
Never listen. I listen sometimes.
I just thought it was funny that we, for 7 and 8, we went in, didn't like it the first time, didn't love it the second time, and now they're like one of our favorite movies. Whereas Rogue One, we came out the first showing and we're like, I couldn't believe what happened. And it leaves you on such a high with that Vader scene, and then it goes right into A New Hope. Like it leaves you on such a note. You're like, that was like the best Star Wars movie I've ever seen. And then watching it again, then you notice more stuff. It's like they go the opposite way, if that makes any sense.
I mean, I just proved that wrong because that my last time I watched it, it was the best viewing ever. Like I said, I wasn't going in trying to do something. I just watched it as not even as like a Star Wars fan. I watched it as a moviegoer. Does this make sense? What are they doing? And I obviously you're going to have some reservations of a Star Wars fan because that movie is a fan film.
Yeah, I mean, and the stuff that I do have to complain about is nitpicky. Borgullet's dumb. Throwing in those 2 jackasses from the cantina, R2 and 3PO, just like. But again, I don't even want to use that in a ranking or like a justification of a movie because, as we've said, we should just change the title of our podcast to "There's dumb shit in every Star Wars movie,"
and we're going to talk about all of it.
Yep.
So no, I guess do you want to rank first, or do you want me to go?
You go first.
Okay, this is going to be tough.
Yes.
Because now I'm not only moving Rogue One up, but I have to like reevaluate The Last Jedi again. So
and Empire Strikes Back, and maybe push Return of the Jedi further down your list.
Man, this is the toughest.
Ewoks, Borgullet. Ewoks, Borgullet. Ewoks,
Dude,
Borgullet.
the Borgullet doesn't save the fucking day with sticks, okay?
Neither do the Porgs.
Porgs I'm so happy with the Porgs. I was so happy with them. All right,
I need to throw a Porg scream in our intro.
Let me sit here and think.
Should we go back and forth?
I don't know because my like top 5 are jumbling right now.
I know.
Because I feel like episode 3 has to drop.
Well,
but I've watched episode 3 more. Well, obviously because it came out 10 years ago, but
yeah.
I would still watch episode 3 more often than all of them, which is weird for me to say.
7 is still easily on top for me. And then there's this jumble of 8, 5, Rogue One, 3, and 1, all like tied for second place at the same time. And then it's 4, 6, and 2.
I'm just, you know what?
Can I just rank them like that? Can that count? 7, and then 5, 8, Rogue One, and 3 all at the same time. And then 4, 6, 2.
Okay.
And then 1 all at the same time.
So Handful of Sneakers is helping me out. He's throwing his ranking in there. So he's got 8, 5, 4.
Ooh.
Whoa. Yeah, you're wrong.
You're the first person. Okay, so people on Twitter have recently been sharing their orders more often than I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
You are the first person I've seen put 8 first. Handful.
No, I didn't even... I didn't realize that because I was already pissed at episode 4 being that high.
I know you're drunk right now, so I might ignore it, but...
No, that's awesome. I don't know where I would put 8. All right, let me just do this.
All right.
I'm just going to go super fucking ballsy because it happened last night. I'm putting Rogue One at number 1. Okay. It's got 1 in the fucking title, all right? I'm doing Rogue One, 7, 8, 3, 5.
Ooh.
3, 5, 4, 6, 2. No, 4, 6, 1, 2.
Yeah, you still got one that low? Fuck.
Yeah, I like 1. I really do. And I think I have less issues with 1 than many people. But it's not rewatchable to me that often. I think I could sit there and watch Rogue One a fuck ton. I think I could sit there and watch episode 3 a fuck ton. I watch episode 1 like once a year, and I'm fine with it. Because it's not that in depth. It's a lot of shit on screen, and I like it. They're kind of building on the universe rather than building on the characters. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
But as soon as you know the universe, I've seen Naboo. I know it. It's a beautiful planet, and it's awesome. But I'm not going to get any more out of it than just looking at the screen.
Yeah. Travis Dunn here has everything clumped together.
Ooh, look at the Rogue One.
The original trilogy is in the top 3, and then Rogue One, and then you have the sequel trilogy together, and then the prequel trilogy all clumped together.
See, I like that. Well, this is kind of like a perfect example because I think this happens a lot where fans that are very tied to the original trilogy actually do like Rogue One a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that's very common. 5, 6, 4 in whatever order you want, then Rogue One, and the rest of it.
Right.
What? He's got 3 last? Travis, shut it off.
And McLean has 7 last. Who are you? What's happening?
No, this is awesome. I know we poke fun and also just hate you guys, but it is cool to see all the different opinions because
it is. Man,
there's so much content out there that everybody takes it all differently. You have different opinions. It's different time of your life.
Well,
I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and our shift. I mean, like you said, Rogue One was probably 4th or 5th place for you, and now it's the 1st.
Yeah, I was just
it changes all the
time. It was weird because I was like awestruck at it last night. I just kept sitting there, just like the fact that Vader has a fucking castle on Mustafar.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I was digging it. I
don't care how he sounds like a wheezing old James Earl Jones. He sounds terrible. But the fact that I get to see him sound terrible in his own fucking castle,
and he's reprising his role. Yeah, it's fucking sweet.
God! And the fact that we see him non-suited Vader floating in a back tank, like that skeleton zombie bitch runs the place.
So cool! I know, I love it.
I love it.
Oh, I guess it's my turn then.
Hold on, real quick. Okay. Travis Dunn says 3 would have been all right except for the last 20 to 30 minutes of it. I have the high ground. That last 20 to 30 minutes is episode 3.
It's the middle 20 to 30 minutes that sucks.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, go ahead.
So 7's obviously first.
Solid. No.
And then I think I'm going to say 5, Rogue One, 3.
8? You forget about 8?
I did forget about 8. Wow.
Yeah, you kept going. I was like, wait a second.
7, 5, 8. Rogue One, 3, 1, 4, 6, 2.
6. So 4, 6, 2 is how yours ends now.
Yep. Which it was like 6 and 2 were down there for a while. Because every time I watch 6, and 5 is even slipping. Like, I know it's still second place because nostalgia factor for me, that's the first one I saw, and that's the one that I watched like over and over and over again. But I watched it over Christmas break with my brother, and it was like, yeah, there's like the middle hour and a half of the movie is just them running through an asteroid field against the Empire. Like, there's
a space worm.
There's a space worm. Like, what the fuck, really?
Minox.
Yeah, I think it's going to slip down as I go. It might end up being like 7, 8, Rogue One, and then 5 at some point. But
so my comparison, because I feel like you said, every movie has its like quirks, but we talk shit about the Borg Gullet, but when you look back, it's like the space worm. In episode 4, it's the fucking swamp worm in the trash compactor of the Death Star. Someone literally had to put that thing on there. Are they going to farm that thing out? I gotta bring my pet. Where are we gonna hide him? Fucking trash compactor.
We need to do a video where we go through every Star Wars movie and
just tear it apart.
Well, which we did that in the fanboy commentary, but we need to do one where it's like, we need to do a series. Like, there's dumb shit in every Star Wars movie. And talk about every single one in order.
Just like Red Letter Media, but on like a serious note where you sit there and just say, all right, everybody who loves episode 4, let me sit here and actually pick it apart.
Let me ruin your childhood.
In almost not even like a entertainment way, but just sitting there and saying, all right, like, I understand this was the first one and it's awesome, but these are like my 10 things about this movie that I hate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we should just do that. The top 10 things I hate about
each
Star Wars as a Star Wars fan.
Well, we should do top 10 things I hate about and then go for every single movie. Maybe top 5.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could find 10 things I hate about 7. Ankar Plut, Dragon Butt, Rathars. That's it.
Death Star 8. You know, Rathars. No, we always have this conversation about the ranking. So I appreciate you guys listening to us do it a fucking again, but dude,
we haven't done it in a while. Yeah, I don't think we've done it since 8 came out because we were trying to, and then we were a little unsure about where to put it because we hadn't only seen it twice. So I just ranked mine, and I don't even know where I put 8. Rogue One, maybe you forgot 8 also.
No. It was Rogue One 7, 8. That's what I did.
Nice. No, you did Rogue One 7, 3.
Rogue One. No, I got to do Rogue One 7, 8, 3, 5.
No, you put 3 higher than 8.
No, well, I'm saying right now, if I did, I'm definitely taking that back.
Change my mind.
No, 3 is falling slowly for me, because even how good it was. I mean, you got to think 2005. It was the best looking thing that's ever been created. And then you get to Rogue One, you're like, wow, episode 3 doesn't look that great, and you have and high ground. So very valid points.
Yep.
Travis, done. All right, guys, let's. I hope he's never heard that because that'd be awesome. Let's move on.
They were swimming around in kombucha. Yep, that's about right. Fucking
C-3PO.
I gotta tell you, man. I finally liked Luke Skywalker.
What happened?
First of all,
what made you change your mind?
Well, episode 8. That's what I'm talking about. So first of all, Mark Hamill's performance was incredible. That was one of the greatest acting performances I've seen. And for him, I've only seen him in Star Wars movies and obviously voicing the Joker. But I've never seen him.
He was the dick puncher guy in
Oh yeah, that counts. Let's get that an Oscar, please. But in terms of actual acting, like I've only seen him as Luke. And he fucking killed it in 8 better than he's ever acted before. And I like Luke Skywalker, finally. And I never did. I never liked the cliche, like, obviously it's a hero's journey, blah, blah, blah. I don't like the main hero because it's too formulaic, which we'll probably talk about here in a second with your Joseph Campbell shit. But I always have strayed away from that stuff. And I finally like Luke because Rian Johnson took a risk and took Luke Skywalker in some direction that no one ever thought of. Mark Hamill hated it at first and still crushed the part in the movie. It was fucking incredible, man. So I finally like Luke. I'm a fan.
No, I can like appreciate your understanding of that because that's kind of along the lines of what I'm thinking is where I know there's this formulaic hero's journey, which we're going to discuss here in a second.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that they pushed a hero into other boundaries. Like, a hero isn't what we're going to talk about here.
Yep.
Even though that's how it was built. Like heroes come from all walks of life, and I think that's where they're really pushing it because even they did the broom kid at the end. It's like, yeah, they could be anybody, anywhere, and that was the key point. It doesn't have to be a bloodline kid coming from the boonies and figuring out I need to help.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I actually heard an interesting, it was a video or an article, I can't remember, but
yeah, talk about it.
Talking about how a lot of the complaints about, you know, Luke, he was supposed to be a hero and a legend, and now he's being a baby back bitch on this planet. People just didn't expect that. But this article was actually saying that all the risks that Ryan took in episode 8, he should have gone even farther. Like this person was saying that he didn't like 8 because Rian Johnson teased us with these like risks and these crazy like twists and turns that we didn't expect.
What do you mean teased us with risks?
He didn't go far enough.
And Luke.
But like, all right. So like my complaint about how it's called The Last Jedi and Luke says it's time for the Jedi to end. But by the end of the movie, I will not be the last Jedi. Rey's here, gonna kick it. He should have gone even farther and like literally ended the Jedi Order altogether.
Well, no, that doesn't make sense because I think they changed just because the movie is about the Last Jedi. Just because it changes hands doesn't mean it's still not about the Last Jedi because Rey is still the Last Jedi. It's almost like Luke was the Last Jedi until Rey showed up and was trained as a Jedi. Then there were 2 again, and then he bit the bucket, kicked the shit, and now she's the Last Jedi. Like that makes complete sense to me. I don't get it.
I think the overall point is that, like kind of like we said about Rogue One, as far as risks go, yes, it's an offshoot. Yes, everybody dies. It's the first spinoff, but at the end of the day, it's a bunch of Episode 4 stuff. So is it really a risk? And then, yeah, exactly. That's the next thing I was going to bring up in 8. Like, it's a risk. It went away you didn't expect. Luke's actually like in hiding. It's about the end of the Jedi Order. But at the end of the day, you know, Finn should have died in that sacrifice, and then Rose saved him, and then Luke was going to end the Jedi, but now Rey is the new Jedi. Just that kind of thing. I just feel like he went right to the cusp of all of these ridiculous changes and risks and then kind of held back a little bit. Gave us enough to like change things, but didn't fully commit. That's how I feel.
Truly the worst Star Wars movie I've ever seen.
Is Episode 2.
Yeah, that one's hard, man.
Speaking of lists on Twitter, I saw somebody put Episode 2 like in like 5th place.
That's way too high. What are you watching?
Hey, yeah, you know, that's another nostalgia factor for me, man.
So I feel like there's different aspects because you can watch it with nostalgia factor, or you can watch it as like a film, and that there's kind of things in between.
Yeah.
But man, how can you be on either side of that and say Episode 2 is good?
But some people don't recognize the nostalgia factor. That's the problem.
Yeah. I
mean, I think I've seen Episode 1, 2, and 5 more than any other Star Wars movie.
1, 2, and 5. Because I've probably seen 3 the most.
Because early on, I would always rent 5 from the library, watch that shit on VHS all the time. Before I had seen any other Star Wars movie ever, but just that one for like 3 or 4 years. And then I randomly got a DVD player with like Godzilla and Spider-Man in episode 2. And I would watch episode 2 on my first DVD player, like in my room at night, every single night. So I've seen those 2 more than anything else.
It's funny you mentioned Spider-Man. I put Spider-Man Homecoming. I bought it on Xbox because it was down to like $9.99. That movie's great too.
Oh, it's I know
incredible. I just made a huge jump, but it happened today. Yeah, I was so pleasantly surprised with Spider-Man, and they stayed true to him actually being a kid.
Yep.
Listen, I'm sick of these 35-year-olds playing fucking Peter Parker when work. Aunt May is 110 years old. I love how they did a young Aunt May. He's actually a fucking teenager.
Yep.
Oh my God. And then they stayed true to the actual character. Even the small things like the soundtrack. They were playing like the Ramones. Like that punk rock angst, like perfect. Fucking play the hell out of the Ramones during Spider-Man, because that's what's happening. And like the things that were on his mind were teenager things. 100%. Should I kiss the girl? How do I like go to school and be Spider-Man, or you know, and it's my best friend. He's gonna figure it out, and then he does. How do I manage that? And right. It's such like teenage things. Guys, this is a Star Wars podcast, but I'm also very happy about other shit. So you're going to listen to me talk about it. Commander's not going to be able to fucking say anything right now because I'm fucking happy about it.
I was actually just going to say, hey, motherfucker, I'm just going to mute your track and I'm just going to talk. How about that?
just mute on and off.
I was actually just going to say, like, I'm glad you brought up Spider-Man because I just listed out. So Infinity War is coming up in May and Black Panther in February. So I actually just listed out all the MCU movies to try to figure out like a schedule to watch them all in order up until Infinity War comes out. So I'm glad you brought that up. And once, like, there's going to be a lull between Last Jedi and Solo where I'm going to be balls deep in Marvel.
I mean, you have to, because there's only one DC movie coming out this entire year.
Fuck DC. I'm over it, man.
I want to see Aquaman.
I'll see it. And I saw Justice League and I enjoyed it, but I'm not balls deep in that like I am with Marvel. No way.
No, I agree. Even though I like DC better, obviously, I agree because there's so much content. They did 99% of their content so good and so well and it all links together. Now the one, like, I don't even want to say cringy because we all knew it was coming, but when they're really starting to shove a lot of people on film and in the same movie, especially in Infinity Wars, where did you guys come from? They're looking at the Guardians. I'm like, you know, that's cringy to me, but I still am going to fucking enjoy it because I want to see the Guardians.
I love that part of the trailer.
No, and I don't know why. Maybe it's something that I'm holding back with Marvel because I've always said I'm a DC fan. They're not killing it like Marvel is. So maybe it's something stupid or just like, I've got to criticize something.
Resentful.
So, yeah, well, maybe it could be. I don't know. But
you're overly critical. You never listen.
What'd you say?
Yep.
The rest of the movies that are coming out, I am truly excited about, like Black Panther. I'm so fucking excited about it. And we're finally getting to the point where you've seen him on film like a touch, and then we get a Spider-Man film. We've seen in Civil War Black Panther with touch, and he was super cool. Now we're going to get a film. DC's doing the opposite, trying to catch up with they're doing it ass backwards.
Yeah.
We're Batman vs. Superman. See Wonder Woman, how badass she is? Now we're going to do this. But also, we're going to go back and now we're going to get a new Batman film, but he's been on film 1,000 times.
Now, I am one in a very few minority of people that thinks that Batman vs. Superman is awesome. I think it's incredible. It's a great film. And I think
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that as far as filmmaking goes, DC pretty much has their shit together. I think it's just from a managing perspective and planning. And I feel like maybe, and I don't know enough about comics, maybe I'm totally wrong, but this is what it seems like from watching the movies, is that they see the success that Marvel is having and they're trying to play catch up to a point that it's ruining their movies.
Yeah. Well, don't play Marvel because you're not.
Exactly.
And that's why I like Batman vs. Superman, because it was so dark.
Yes.
He died and it got into the nitty gritty. It wasn't flash and pizzazz on screen. Right. It's the internal struggles of Batman and Superman and like the two bad guys that make fucking sense in the whole universe.
Right.
I would watch 1,000 Batman movies. Listen again, DC. I would watch 1,000 Batman movies. I don't fucking care. because I like Batman and his internal struggle and the way his villains fuck with him.
Well,
because I feel it's a human aspect that even though he's Batman and it's the Joker, they are very human and they have human thoughts and human emotions, and you can almost start to wrap your head around like, I understand where the Joker's coming from, which is fucked because he's a psycho.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about the DC universe. Now they're trying to it's hard to make a movie without flash and pizzazz nowadays.
Right.
So I understand they're go ahead. I said a lot there.
No, it's okay. It's not, I don't know. But my what I was going to respond to initially is that you see the benefit in giving somebody creative control over a story and letting them do their thing, which I think Zack Snyder did with Batman vs. Superman. It didn't pay off for everybody. I think it's a great movie, and I love the iteration of Batman being an older Bruce Wayne to being a badass. I loved Lex Luthor. I love that Superman died, and overall I enjoyed the movie. You have to give people that space to make that kind of movie in your universe. And then when you go to
biscuit.
Exactly. But you have to. But then when you go to Suicide Squad, when they try the committee, I was listening to Red Letter Media and they talk about the committee, like the committee at Warner Brothers wasn't happy with it or whatever and tried to make changes. They had to do reshoots. And then the movie gets all skewed because you have the corporation infringing upon the creative process and trying to craft it into something that's going to make them money.
Decisions about an art.
Exactly. Which what you have to do with, and one thing that I'm so happy that Star Wars found is Rian Johnson. The fact that they are giving this guy, first of all, they gave him 8. They just gave him 8, written and directed by Rian Johnson. And they're giving him a full trilogy.
Full artistic, creative ability to create what you want. Listen,
you
guys,
have to have
even
that.
if you're not happy with them, that's what Lucas had.
Yes.
I wrote it. Now I'm directing it. Let me flesh out what my artistic mind has created. If you and that might be the issue that with the sequel trilogy between JJ, now we're going to Ryan, now we're going back to JJ, there's gonna be some bounce back and forth. And we had that with the original trilogy. So but the original trilogy
there's a
was
difference
all written
there, though.
by the same person.
That's what I was going to say. There's a difference there. Like the original trilogy did have 3 different directors, but it was the overall story, not the screenplay, was written by the same person. So that's where I think there are some issues with the way Disney's doing 7, 8, and 9, where JJ made a movie, and now Ryan gets to react to that movie. It's just weird. It's just weird how they did it. But I think it's obviously going to end up fine. I loved 8. I think I'm going to love 9. It's just strange that they did it that way.
I absolutely hated 8. Kylo Scar moved 2 inches to the left. Ruined the movie. Who ruined it? Rian Johnson. All right, guys. Let's move this. Let's trudge forward because I think it's a great conversation, and we're almost rehashing a lot of different stuff. But
quickly, speaking of the Joker and shit, though, because you brought that up. Now, I have not watched the show Gotham, but I have watched the show Shameless.
Okay.
And where I am, kind of spoiler if you're worried about watching Shameless, but in season 5, when Ian is starting to get this bipolar psychotic shit that he has from his mom.
Yeah.
There was a shot, it was a close-up on his face, and it showed his eyes. And I was like, he's in something else. I know it.
He's the Joker.
And I hadn't, exactly. And I hadn't thought about that for the first 4 seasons. But all of a sudden, once he's losing his mind, I thought about that.
It was like he walked from set to set.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh, he's playing the young Joker in Gotham. And I looked up a few pictures of him in that show and dude, he is killing it, man.
I really, when I first saw him as the Joker, I sat there and was just like, really? And then I really started looking at him like, that's perfect.
And I wonder, based on the time that came out, if they did that on purpose. Like, if they timed Ian starting to get that bipolar disorder with, him playing the Joker in the other show.
Probably not. But the fact,
probably.
The DC animated series, which they've always absolutely annihilated. Marvel can't hold water. No. Oh, no, yeah, exactly. Marvel can't hold water in that aspect.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is I think it was the Red Hood, where they talk about Joker's past and that he was married, and there's a lot of different stuff going on. That was what I'm just going to call him Ian from Shameless. Mm-hmm. That's what Ian from Shameless embodied, was that pre-face fuck up Joker. Like he's just a normal guy, and you could see his mind slowly twisting into something that's almost not human. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw shots of him in Gotham. I haven't watched the series. I watched
same here.
I watched 6 episodes, and I just was not there. Probably because the Joker wasn't on screen. So turn the fuck off. I was into like the Penguin stuff, and I've never been a huge Penguin fan. I'm gonna sit here and say that because I don't think the Penguin really pushes Batman the same way. Even Bane fucks with Batman a lot, and I like the Riddler and the Joker, but something about the Penguin is just like, I'm conniving and I'm just weird and fat. Like, okay, get the fuck off screen.
I think it's the political thing.
Okay, but it just
he's like rooted, twisting the public view of Batman.
Yeah, I mean, and it might be rooted in my Batman the Animated Series from the 90s, where as soon as I saw Penguin on screen, I like just turned it off.
I mean, he's not the coolest dude. He's a fat dude with a long nose and a fucking tuxedo.
His name is Penguin.
Yep.
Like if I saw fucking the Stork on screen, I'd fucking laugh my ass off. But how is the Penguin cool? Like it's a come on, get it up.
It's only because me and my obsession with Batman Returns. And when I was a youngster, I was playing Batman Returns, watching Batman Returns, drawing Batman Returns, and it was just Batman Returns balls deep all day.
You know what's low key really good?
What is it?
And you always talked about the Batman Returns video game, but the one after it, the Batman Forever game for SNES and Sega,
Genesis. I never played it.
That is such a weird, cool game.
It looks like the same type of like engine and graphics.
Yeah. No, you can like equip yourself with different guns or abilities or smoke bombs or batarang. So you can actually play through the same level in different ways, which was so unique back then. Because you could just like, all right, I picked up a batarang last level, so I'm gonna use that this level. Will it help me? Maybe it'll hinder my progress because certain spots it's just like a batarang would have been fucking perfect.
Right.
But no, I always just remember that it was really tough, and I never beat it, and that's why I kept coming back to it because, well, let me try it this way now. Let me try it that way. So, all right.
It took a while for me to beat Batman Returns on Super Nintendo, and I remember actually, it's a funny story that my mom brings up once in a while.
That was the worst laugh I've ever heard.
It was a nostalgia laugh. I remember I was like 5. Oh, so I was pretty good at video games, but I wasn't that good. And I couldn't beat this one level on Batman Returns. And I looked at the cartridge on the back, and there was like a technical support hotline number. And I called tech support for Nintendo, and I was like, how the fuck do I beat the Penguin? Like, it was that hard, and I couldn't do it. And I called customer support for Nintendo, asking them how to beat this goddamn level on this game.
I would have loved to hear that conversation. Listen, little kid, is it working? Yeah.
This is not what customer support is meant for, child. Go back.
That's hilarious. I would, if only the internet was around back then.
I know.
And then what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. That's okay.
Sorry. That happens all the time.
Yeah, well, this is nostalgia Batman Squad Pod, man. Talking about boom shakalaka.
Let it roll, man.
Downtown. And then we run into... You know what's funny is I always used to rent Jurassic Park for SNES or for Sega.
1 or 2?
I don't remember. It was just impossible, and that's why I kept renting it from Blockbuster because it was impossible. And I'm like, listen, I'm 7 years old. I am prime time perfect at video games, and I can't figure this out. This is bullshit. So I called technical support and fucked them up.
That's hilarious.
That was the worst thing I've ever heard. That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. Right, I was wondering if it was 1 or 2 because I played 2 all the time, and it was a side-scrolling shooter. And it was weird because it wasn't based off the movies at all. You just literally ran through Jurassic Park and had to take out dinosaurs as you were going through with your guns and shit. It had nothing to do with the movie. kind of like, well, I was going to say GoldenEye, but half of GoldenEye was they just invented levels because James Bond walked into this one place and then left. And they made a whole level about it where you have to go through and kill all these enemies and everything. But
that almost adds to the story because you're like, that's why he was there. I get it. Like,
yeah.
But the Jurassic Park one, all I remember was shooting at dinosaurs, and I just couldn't.
So maybe it was 2. Yeah, it was tough. It was really hard.
All right, let's do it. We got to move on, man. We got to move on.
We don't have to, but we can.
Fuck, let's stay right here.
Super Nintendo games, go top 10.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding. Go on. You didn't even have Super Nintendo.
Let me think. All the 7 Marios that came out. I don't know. All right, let's get into the main topic, which may not be a main topic because we talked a bunch of shit. We're going to be talking about the hero's journey. And what I mean by that is the template for a heroic story. So we're talking about Genghis and the Round Table. We're talking about like mythology, anything like that. They walk this similar path that we're going to be discussing here in the template, and they were referring to Star Wars and how it was built around that. So what we're going to do is just I'm going to walk through the key points. So there's let's just call it 12 key points that all of these stories have touched upon. And I'm just going to read them off, and we'll go one at a time and kind of discuss how it applies specifically A New Hope, because that's kind of where we're at with it. Because when Lucas made it, he was actually basing it low key off this.
Literally, yeah. Let's do 4 and 7 because 7's just the same as 4. So
sure, and we can run parallels with 4 and 7 because those are unique, and obviously they're similar in this aspect of how to build a heroic story.
And there is one big criticism of episode 1, which does hold true,
that it doesn't follow this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually found a jank website that lists this out in a Star Wars fashion. So the first key is an ordinary world. So in my mind, that means, all right, they're setting up the setting, the characters. This is what universe that they live in, something like that. And I'll read the sentence they have here. Luke begins his adventure in the ordinary world of moisture farming on the desert planet of Tatooine, which is normal for him, at least. We learn that Luke is still a child, and when he whines about those power converters, which is funny because I didn't read that before. But we also see that he yearns for a life of adventure and not safe. Uneventful one is his uncle. That doesn't even make sense. Uneventful one, his Uncle Owen has planned.
He yearns for a life of adventure and not the safe, uneventful one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to read the rest of it because it's kind of weird. So it's more of like setting up. Everything's normal. This is the way of life. Not even the setting, but the way of life, and it's normal to him. So we're understanding Luke and where he comes from, and that he yearns for something.
Sounds just like Harry Potter.
Dude, no, and we could even do that.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah, 100%.
So we're looking at Harry, and all right, he lives on Earth. Let's just call it Earth.
Suburbs of fucking England.
But he yearns for something else because he's special. We see that he's special, but he can't do anything. And it's the same thing. Uncle Owen and Harry's uncle, they play the same part.
Yeah.
You almost called him Onkar Plutt. Onkar Plunkle.
But yeah, it's the same fucking thing.
So I think the whole purpose of the ordinary world is for us to relate. This is where he is. This is what he wants to do. And that's kind of the character development that we see in A New Hope. And we see the same in The Force Awakens. Because we see Rey.
Same with Rey. Yep.
She's a junker, but we see her yearning for something when she puts on the rebellion helmet. and is just kind of staring off like, man, my parents, but I should be doing something more. Thoughts?
100%. It also calls to a deeper level because setting it up in the ordinary world is kind of like showing people you live an ordinary life, but maybe you're called for something different.
Well, you yearn for something different. You want something different.
Some people do. That's what I mean. It's kind of, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not everybody, but it's a similar thing because heroes like this usually do come from an ordinary world. Meant for nothing. He's a boring ass farmer, but internally he's like eager for something to take him out of that existence.
Well, and let's just point the yearnings out because he wants to go to the academy, which he can't. So he wants to do something.
Yeah, he already showed a little bit of
even
that.
Even if it's just like school or learning something like that.
Yeah,
but it's also low key when he is playing with the fucking Imperial ship.
Yeah,
and it's weird and childish, but you can see him like, I want to be somewhere else.
He wants to fly.
He's daydreaming as an 18-year-old.
Oh yeah.
Like a 7-year-old does, but that's that yearning. Like, I need to get away from here. So yeah, I love it. So we'll move on to the second point here. Call to adventure. It says Luke's call to adventure comes when he finds a message stored in R2-D2. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. We know that the ripples of the galactic war have found their way to Luke's ordinary world, and obviously we might be here real soon, but the connection is Obi-Wan. So it's that call. We got the ordinary guy. What does he need to do? What's going to change him? Well, he gets the message from R2.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, all right, so this is an instance maybe where Rogue One lessens the mythological stories because, well, I guess Leia was on her way there in the first place anyway, so never mind. I was going to say that the droids randomly end up on Tatooine and Luke finds them, and it was just destiny.
They do randomly. If you really want to talk about it.
Kind of, but Leia was on her way to find Obi-Wan anyways. The message is for Obi-Wan.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair
I figured out my own ridiculousness as I spoke it.
Now, I think this is a very, the call to adventure bullet is, while it's small, Luke would have never done a fucking thing if R2-D2's message didn't say Kenobi, because it's like Ben Kenobi,
right? And
he made that connection,
right?
If she would have just said Obi-Wan, just think about that. If she just would have said Obi-Wan, 4 wouldn't have happened.
This droid is drunk as fuck. Get the hell out of here.
Obi-Wan, that's a fucked up drunken name. You better shut up. wipe his memory. But yeah, it's crazy because it almost lives up to the rebellion, how everything kind of hinges on that one thing that one guy or girl did, and now we're here.
Well, think about not all of Rogue One, but the end of Rogue One.
All of it.
They decide to go to Scarif in a U-wing with only 20 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then just because they decided to do that, Mon Mothma rallies the fleet and they all go. But just what if she had decided, no, what the hell? What are they doing on Scarif? They're just gonna lose.
Rogue One is the pinnacle movie for that, though, because, dude, it's just Jyn and Cassian. If either of them die in any of scene. Okay, Stephen.
Okay, Stephen Brule. Jesus Christ. All right, next.
In any scene, it's all fucked. If K2SO isn't there to lock the door, it's all fucked.
Right.
It is the tipping point of the rebellion. That's the entire movie of Rogue One is, all right, we know they win 909% time of all the other movies.
I like how it plays out like that. And this is one thing that I've mentioned about Harry Potter too, is because he by himself can't do, I don't want to say he can't do anything, but he almost can't do anything. You know what I mean?
We'll get there. I think you're jumping ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah. I think we'll have this conversation in like 1 or 2 things here.
All right.
So keep that in mind. We'll go to the next bullet point. Refusal of the call. Initially, Luke refuses the call to join the rebellion. I can't say I could settle overboard to get to the Empire. I think that's the quote there. When R2-D2 runs off, he wants to retrieve the droid more because he doesn't want to get in trouble and has that like sense of duty that I need to find this motherfucker. After finding Obi-Wan Kenobi...
they mean he only went to find him so he didn't get in trouble rather than a sense of duty trying to find the droid.
Well, I read it as more of that was his sense of duty. That was his mindset, was just literally finding the droid so he doesn't get in trouble. But yeah, okay. But after doing so, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke still refuses to join
he's stuck in his fucking farmer mindset, like Mogan Lars. Like all he can think about is going back to the moisture farm and making sure Owen is happy. He's not going to find R2 because he thinks he should. He's going because he doesn't want to fucking get grounded.
God, that makes so much sense. It's crazy as they simplify the entire Star Wars universe here. It says, are you reading the, are you on the same page here?
Yep.
Luke doubts his ability, which we see numerous times. And it takes like Obi-Wan to push him and to really see that you can make a difference. Luke doubts his ability to be any help, saying it's all such a big long way, blah, blah, blah. At the end of this stage, Luke returns home to discuss this Jesus.
You can't fucking read, assface.
I got this light and I can't read to begin with.
Luke returns home to his uncle and aunt.
Murdered. Yes. So that almost like forces him. Like even though he's refusing, I can't make a difference. It's so far away. You know, what am I gonna do?
And here we have Travis Dunn in the chat room that is saying that what if the aunt and uncle hadn't been killed? Would Luke still have left Tatooine?
No. I think he would have still had that sense of duty holding him back.
I think it's a combination of things. And it's almost, when you look at it, it's almost a random combination of things that end up happening randomly, but they happen to the right person. Like Harry Potter's thing is like, because
let's walk back through. Ordinary world, it's already set up. Call to adventures, those letters.
Yes.
Hey, come join the school.
Yes.
Refusal of the call. You're a simpleton. You don't mean anything. His uncle yelling at him.
Right.
I can't make a difference.
Right.
And it takes Hagrid.
Right.
To like come seek him out.
Right.
So Hagrid is the Obi-Wan in that sense.
Right. Right. And I was going along the lines of, it's like the perfect storm of things to push this random person into some important destiny that they don't think would ever be part of their life. That I think that's the point too. Is like Luke and Harry Potter, like they don't ever think of themselves as a hero. They don't ever think they're going to amount to anything great. But they're meant to, and then all of these things happen to bring them into that role.
Well, not only that, but as we look at Harry and Luke, they are both very talented, extremely talented, but they don't know how to apply it. Like Luke is bullseyeing womp rats.
But he didn't necessarily know that, you know what I mean?
No, well, that's what I'm saying, is it took Obi-Wan and the push of his aunt and uncle's death into something like that.
Right.
But like all of that he knows, the bullseyeing womp rats, the I'm not such a bad pilot, like he can fly stuff. The fact that you can do those two things, you can make a huge difference. But he didn't know that. He didn't realize that the skills that he has and the bloodline, low-key.
Because he spent his life with his aunt and uncle telling him that he should just be a farmer.
He probably should have.
I think that's part of it too. I mean, just like Harry Potter, he was born to two very strong wizards. He, as a baby, survived an attack from one of the strongest wizards ever. But the rest of his life, from ages 1 to 13 or whatever it is, 11 maybe, I can't remember. He spent his whole life being told that he was just an average, normal person, didn't amount to much, has nothing to do, get under the stairs, fucking clean the dishes, blah, blah, blah. Same thing.
Wash the dishes. You don't clean dishes, you wash them.
You can do both. You can do both, bitch.
I gotta clean my laundry.
There you go.
All right. Crossing the threshold is the next point here.
Wait, you forgot meeting the mentor.
Yep, meeting the mentor. So this is going to be where Luke meets Obi-Wan after a run-in with the Sand People, chasing R2 into the desert. Obi-Wan explains about the Jedi. It's kind of the setup of explaining. Well, obviously, he's seen Leia and the Reach Out, asking for Obi-Wan. And like you said, it wasn't even the fact that he was looking for Obi-Wan. It was a mistaken... R2 went on a drunken ramble and ended up in the fucking desert, and they just ended up crossing paths and saying, hey, by the way, your name came up in this droid data banks or whatever.
Right.
Why don't you come home? And then it's the spark.
Right.
Because now we have the teacher and the hero getting together.
Spark that will light the spark, that will spark the spark down.
There might...
Indeed.
So, what's in the meeting the mentor, even though it's not the actual mentor in Harry Potter, it is Hagrid that, and even throughout the entire series, you see Hagrid as like a mentor, but not a teacher. I think they split that.
He's like a mentor friend.
He's a drunken bastard.
He is. Which I love.
So, I think that one kind of speaks for itself, meeting the mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one would be crossing the threshold. Luke leaves home and crosses the threshold of his journey in the form of Mos Eisley Spaceport. Spaceport is a new world for Luke. He stops and stares at all the activity. Yeah, I've never really thought it. So he's getting out of his comfort zone is what I'm kind of reading here.
Yep. 100%.
So he's starting to learn about the greater galaxy, not only just being a farmer and bullseyeing womp rats.
Well, okay, so now we're going to drag it back to Harry Potter for a second. It's when he gets into Diagon Alley for the first time with Hagrid.
Well, even just before that, because you see him in that cantina thing. Dude, we're talking about the same goddamn movie.
Yep.
Here. When Hagrid drags him to that bar or whatever it is, and they're all looking and staring, he feels really weird, and they're like,
you're the chosen one.
Oh, yeah. But it's along different lines, but it's the same scene.
Yep.
That's so crazy. Okay.
Yep.
Next bullet point, tests, allies, and enemies. Luke gathers more allies to his cause. Han Solo, Chewbacca. Gathers is the wrong term. He technically hires them. Okay. When Luke and company prepare to leave Tatooine, stormtroopers attempt to stop them. With the help of his allies, Luke succeeds and gets his power converters and is on his way to Alderaan.
Mm-hmm.
So the test was meeting new people, hiring them, and or gathering them.
You got Fucko here in the chat room is trying to say Luke Skywalker and Harry Potter are not the same. Bro, they are. They are the same. That's the whole point. That's why these stories work. That's why they're so popular. That's why Harry Potter is like one of the most popular series in fiction.
It's almost a more simplified Star Wars. It's a Star Wars, even though I know Star Wars is for children, I think Harry Potter went another step and just said, not only is this for children, it's about children now.
Right.
I think they went that far, and I think that's a huge step for someone to do that.
Well, if you think of the years in school for Hogwarts, they start at 11.
Mm-hmm.
Like Harry's 11 years old, man. That's really young.
Yeah.
Some 11-year-olds can't even make themselves fucking food.
I still can't. All right. Approach to the inmost cave. Now, I don't know what that means outside of context. So
I assume it's based on the mythological version of this.
So on the way, Luke makes preparations for the difficulties ahead as Obi-Wan begins teaching him about the Force and how to wield a lightsaber. So it's kind of maybe the preparation of what you're going to come across.
I think he makes the final decision to leave his comfort zone, follow the mentor, and get to this new place. But the first thing that they end up going to is it ends up being this place of conflict. Like they were supposed to go
and it's leading into the next one, which is Ordeal. So yeah.
Like they were supposed to go to Alderaan, but he finds himself in this conflict, this place of darkness that they have to fucking get out of.
Fucking get out of. All right. So next bullet point is Ordeal. After Obi-Wan leaves to turn off the... Oh, okay. So we're already moving on to the Death Star. Ooh, they're jumping here. Okay. So we find Alderaan's all blown up, and the reason why they have to go to the Death Star.
Yeah.
No, because they get...
Alderaan's gone, and then they get sucked in.
Yeah.
Han tries to chase that TIE fighter, and then they get tractor beamed into the Death Star.
Yeah. So they find themselves on the Death Star as a result of the blown up planet.
Yeah.
So the ordeal is after Obi-Wan leaves to turn off the power to the tractor beam, Luke begins his ordeal. The ordeal is a test that the hero must overcome, usually by drawing on his skills to defeat an enemy. The rescue of Princess Leia represents this ordeal. Luke and his companions draw on their skill to mount a successful rescue of Leia. I thought almost like the ordeal is the fact that he starts thinking that he can make a difference, and he has to talk Han and Chewie into saving the princess.
Well, that's part of it, yeah.
I feel like that's huge because 24 hours ago on Tatooine, you were a little bitch whining about power converters, but now all of a sudden, now that you're here, you're right place, right time,
yep,
and the spark of the sparks.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Now, he feels like he knows what the right thing is to do, and he has to convince everybody to help him out. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it. However, the minor success is not without loss, as Luke witnesses Obi-Wan's death at Vader's hands. Vader's hand. That's how he died.
Get it.
All right. Next bullet point: reward or seizing the sword. Luke emerges from his ordeal a worldlier, more adult hero.
Not really. He goes and pouts on the fucking chessboard, but keep going.
Well, yeah, and yeah, he pouts about Ben's death. But I think now that he's got, it's a small success because the reward was he actually saved the princess.
Yep.
So now he can go back and say, "Look, I made a difference. Let's fucking get together and
Well, and that tied with his mentor died, and he doesn't want that to be in vain, so he joins the rebellion to, live up to what Obi-Wan expected of him.
Yeah. Perfect. Next one, the road back. At this point, the hero typically begins his journey back to his. Are they assuming all? Oh, this fucking sexist bitch. The hero typically begins their journey back to the ordinary world.
Microaggression
from the beginning. Luke begins this stage too, but he isn't heading back to Tatooine. Instead, so he's heading back to the Death Star.
Yep.
Wow. This it's crazy that it's almost like the opposite. Like Star Wars was made and then they created this template, these bullet points off of Star Wars.
That's what it seems like, right?
No, exactly.
But it's the opposite.
Is it?
So this there's obviously a few things like resurrection. The final battle takes place. Consequences are very high. Luke can't fail. He ultimately succeeds. And he's reborn. It says rebirth is usually a part of this too. He undergoes a change. He becomes a solidified part of the rebellion. He trusts Obi-Wan's words. He has Obi-Wan coming back in visions to kind of train him, even though he's not there physically. That kind of stuff.
Well, Luke used the Force even when he's flying and doing the blowing up.
Right.
Oh, your computer turned off. Fucking power converters.
This is, it's when I hear people complain about stories that sound the same. After I've read this layout of things and how Episode 4 follows it almost to a T, I just wonder where that complaint comes from, because anything that's about a hero protagonist is almost always going to go this same way. So if we apply it to 7 and try to think about why people think that 7 is a complete ripoff of Episode 4, well, it's because it follows the same structure, because it's another hero's journey. Like they restarted Star Wars on purpose with a hero's journey with new characters, because that's how it started in the first place 40 years ago.
Right.
Like it should have been obvious. Like it's not a ripoff of 4. It's a ripoff of the hero's journey, which every fiction story about a hero has used forever, because that's just how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you.
That's it.
That's all she wrote.
Rey begins on an ordinary world. She's a scavenger, call to adventure. A droid falls in her lap. People want to buy it. People want to steal it. First Order shows up. Finn shows up. She escapes. She keeps trying, even though she escaped, keeps trying to go back to Jakku. Han Solo shows up. She meets the mentor. Still tries to want to go back to Jakku. The threshold is at Maz's place. She sees the lightsaber, sees a vision, gets confronted with that big destiny that she wants to go back from. That's a test. That's like her big test. And even kind of like the cave at the same point too. Like she faces the lightsaber vision and then faces Kylo chasing her down in the forest, goes through the ordeal. She's captured. She's trying to get her mind read. And then the reward is she's realizes
trying to get her mind read.
She's trying to get her mind
read my mind.
Please, Kylo, please do it. She ends up getting her mind read. And the reward is in that moment, she figures out that she has the Force. Mm-hmm. And not only can she stop the mind read, that she can reverse it pretty much and see inside Kylo's head. And then it's perfect because they took the same thing, they presented it in newer times in a newer movie. It worked. I think it went off nearly flawlessly. Just I'm frustrated why people are mad about that because they don't realize that it's the same thing that's been happening in stories for thousands of years.
It's just on film.
Thousands and thousands of years ago by my great-grandfather.
Yep. With the flute. All right, guys. I think we're actually going to hold off. This has been a good, long episode. We talked about a lot. We're going to hold off on the Star Wars super weapons. So there was a ranker list of
nice.
super weapons. But this has been awesome. Episode 130.
4 years, motherfucker.
4 years, yeah, bitch. So thank you guys for tuning in. Rogue Squadron Podcast, you know who it is. We appreciate everybody tuning in, especially live. We've had a lot of great live discussions. So if you want to join us live, Sunday, fucking 7, 8, 9 o'clock, whatever fucking happened.
8 p.m.
If you want to join us, YouTube's the best. You head on over. Hit the, I think there's a notification button. Hit that. It'll just let you know when we go live.
There's a little bell.
So that way you can just catch it. The little bell. So we would appreciate if you went over and did that because we'd love to hear from everybody as we record. Let's run back through. I had with the beer review, I had Dogfish Head, the Midas brake pad touch, 9%. I did a 1 out of 3. Go ahead.
North High Stardust to Stardust Imperial IPA, 8.8%. I gave it a 2.
2 out of what?
2 out of 3, bitch.
2, not 18.
If you're in Columbus, make a point to try it. Go to North High and give it a try. I like it.
Absolutely. Episode 130, 4-year anniversary. We appreciate everybody hanging with us. We've had a crazy, awkward amount of fans. I mean, from like day 7.
How do you keep listening to us? I don't get it.
I mean, there's people out there like Matt from Ireland. He was on like episode 8, like live. Lone Wolf. I remember his fucking tag.
Yep.
Lone Wolf was just like, hey, I just found you guys. You guys are jackasses. I love it. And then, it's like 3 years later.
He's in our intro.
Yeah, he's in our intro now. So last but not least, head on over to Patreon page if you guys are a big fan of the show. Patreon.com/Rogue Squad Pod, and or just go to Patreon and search us up. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much to all you fucking crazy patrons that sent us a recording of the intro. It was fucking hilarious. I love you guys. Having the group chat and having the calls with you every week is it's a blast, man. It's fucking awesome.
It is awesome because we're always looking for like-minded. We don't have to agree on anything, but like-minded individuals that just want to hang out and shoot the shit about Star Wars and or people without dicks, because that's what we did with the I don't even know what the hell.
People without dicks.
That was the main conversation in our Patreon call because we were discussing Game of Thrones, and we all know what happens to Reek.
Yep.
Spoiler! Last but not least, we got Eric Fajevajeva, who jumped in this chat here. Who is better, Revan or Vader? Easy.
Obviously, Revan.
Revan. I love Vader, but Revan.
You must not have seen it before. Obviously, Revan.
Never heard us talk ever.
Bane
Thank
then
you
Revan.
guys for tuning in. Bane then Revan?
Probably.
Oh man, I think Bane does more, but Revan's a better character.
You know, I heard Star Wars explain. All right, so you know how the Luke,
here we go.
Luke has the little crystal pendant thing in 8.
Yeah,
his little necklace. It's a Jedi Crusader pendant, which they tie back to the Jedi Crusaders are the ones that followed Revan against the wishes of the Jedi Order to go fight the Mandalorian Wars. So he talks about this in the video, Star Wars Explained, which I usually love. He kills it. And then he says, unfortunately, it didn't last because Revan and Malak fell to the dark side. But he forgot to mention the part where Revan used the dark and the light side to his own advantage and didn't fall to either one because he's the fucking badass.
Sithari, bitch.
Jesus Christ. Anyways.
Come on. Colonel just says Malak.
I'm just going to start a YouTube channel, Revan Explained. Just Revan all day. All day, every day.
What'd you think about Luke in The Last Jedi? Well, listen, Revan, the way he wasn't there, that's why I was pissed.
Mark Hamill was great, but let me talk about Revan.
I love it.
All right, guys.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
We love you.
Shouting out Mandalorian jackasses.
We love you.
Well,
we love you so much.
And
it's over. The fight is over.
Vader.
There he is, Chad Redding here in the chat.
Chad Redding.
Fucko master.
Vader fucko. Fucko master.
That's the fucko dude.
Fucko dude. Oh, man.
Oh, guys. You keep us going.
I've taken the biggest piss.
Me too.
Ever created. So here, I'll stay on live for a second because this is a very special episode for us. So stay live, guys.
All right, stay up. We'll be right back.
Saw him in the corner over here fucking around. I was like, what is that? You guys are worried about hearing the flush? Did someone say fucko? Actually, Logan, if you're not a huge fan of us, I said fucko like 1,000 episodes ago. So step the fuck up. I don't know what that came from. Sometimes I pull stuff from like other funny shit, but I don't know if I ever heard fucko before I said it. I think I might have said it by accident. I had to have heard it somewhere. Fucko's too specific. What?
Yep.
Fucko was in Clerks 2?
You never heard it from that though.
That's not where.
You just made it up. I could tell by the way you said it. It was like in the moment. Okay, it starts with this fucko.
Yeah, she said it happened in Clerks 2 with the interspecies erotica show where they have like that dude that bangs a donkey.
Interspecies. This makes me think of like a Duros and a Twi'lek going at it.
I can see it. But I guess they do say it in Clerks too.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I don't remember that, so I couldn't have pulled it from there.
Love it.
Oh man, this beer I had to like slow down real fast. I had 2.
Yeah.
And I opened up the third, and it hit me. I was like, I got to sip. on it. So
this is good shit.
Real. This is very drinkable, and obviously I couldn't read after 2. So.
Well, apparently.
I almost want to, if Commander's up for it, do like another live thing. If you guys want to try to jump on over to like a call, or if you just want to sit here and like chill and hang out, it's up to you. I don't want to make it too long because I am winding down pretty quickly.
If our Patreon's
all that pressure. Chronos says, I am on my 6 tall boy Budweiser.
Nice.
Well,
I dig it.
2 characters that give no fucks, Jay and Silent Bob. Kerner?
Guaranteed, Kerner.
Kerner is someone special, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes to like break our like Kerner's in our like, top 5 people of like closest friends. We found him. We invested. We found Kerner quoting Star Wars by himself in high school. No one knew who the fuck Nick Kerner was, and then we just heard your new empire, and we're like, all right, listen, bitch, come over here
in the background. Oh my god, it was so funny. Best meeting of anybody ever. That's for sure. I think that's my best introduction to a human being.
Yeah, he was. I
even
don't even know
like
why.
with my wife, like Kerner takes the cake as to how I met somebody.
Yeah, quoting Star Wars in an entire class of like class clowns. That class was fucking crazy, and he's the one person by himself, and he's quoting Star Wars. I love it. That's hilarious.
Oh boy.
And people may not even realize that Commander, myself, and Kerner all went to the same high school. It was a long time ago. Over 10 years, you might say. Because it was. 10-year anniversary.
11 years.
Yeah. Oh, it hurts.
11 and a half.
That's not good. I got to get with you guys to get the prizes. Yeah, done.
You and somebody else posted.
On Instagram.
Yeah. I don't know how to deliver things to you.
Well, you drive up and pick them up. We put aside some good stuff for you, Travis.
Yeah, there's 2 of you guys.
You weren't there, and you were called like 3rd, and we did like kind of first come first serve. I was like, we can't put around like shit aside for Travis. So
yeah,
we put some good stuff.
Fuck yeah.
Well, what we would think good stuff is. Kerner says that was my prime of being balls deep in episode 3.
Yeah, it was like a week after it came out, man. And I remember, I won't say his name on the air, but I remember dude got us ripped copies of episode 3 in entirety on DVDs.
Yep. It had the run time.
Like and then I watched it every day. No joke. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. That's hilarious. I was mad at episode 3 because they killed my Mace Man. I thought it was epic, dude. That's the whole purpose of episode 3. It all goes to shit. You go from 1 and 2 where there's like strife, but it like everything's still intact. Episode 3, just everything comes crumbling down. It's so perfect.
Dude, Stupendous had a post the other day, and he said that Mace Windu is probably the strongest lightsaber wielder that we've seen in canon.
Wow.
He said, in combat, Mace Windu is probably the most powerful Jedi we have seen in canon.
Kerner just said something crazy. Episode 3 is still his favorite movie of all time.
Favorite movie ever movie?
That's what I said.
See, this is where it gets tough. Is like, obviously I love Star Wars.
How do you rank Star Wars against other movies?
But if I had to, for example, to pick one movie only to watch the rest of your life forever.
Scarface, easy.
I don't know if I couldn't pick off the top of my head, man. I don't know.
You know what's crazy is mine definitely, and this is weird for me to say, it definitely wouldn't be a comedy. I have to pick something crazy, and not just Scarface, for example, but something like that. Like I watch it, and it's just that's awesome. But I could sit there and watch Beer League probably twice a day for the rest of my life.
Well, I was going to say it'd probably be something funny if I had to watch a movie for the rest of my life, like something like Big Lebowski or
I never really understood.
Or something.
I never really understood The Big Lebowski. I watched it and was like, all right, clearly this is a cult film because it's not good. Oh, Mopar is pissed.
Shots fired.
Oh, Travis Dunn says Caddyshack. Travis, if you didn't know,
Caddyshack.
I caddied for 9 years of my life. Caddyshack sings true to my heart and my loins. I fucking love it. We watched Caddyshack last weekend.
It's fucking good, dude. I watched Animal House like 2 weeks ago. I got super hammered and watched it. It was so fucking funny.
It's up there. Animal House doesn't ring because I have experiences as a caddy. So
a pledge pin.
A pledge pin on your uniform.
So fucking good, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
People got fucking psycho in the 50s.
50s. People 60s. Get psycho now. Let's drink about it.
Pissed.
Yeah, Caddyshack's. When I say like top 5 comedies of all time, it's like usually top 3 easily. I watch Caddyshack a lot. You worked as a busboy for about 2 years at a golf course. Yeah, well, fuck off. Man, right, cadding's a whole nother thing. You about done? I wanted to chill with the guys for a second.
I did too, but I don't know if everybody's ready for that, and I need some food.
Have some ham.
Give me the ham, please.
Ham, please.
Hey, I find out tomorrow if I get into the vacant office here, the office.
You have to like apply for it, or?
Yeah, so there's like private offices. There's like probably 30 of them around the entire building.
Is that it's the foundry where they make shit downstairs?
Yes. Yeah, Idea Foundry is what it's called.
Yeah, I was in there probably 2 or 3 years ago. I was looking into some woodworking stuff, and I came across it. And I did like a whole tour, like a low-key tour through it.
Yeah, they do classes and shit like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking into doing, I think it was like glass blowing at the time, but I was interested in woodworking. So I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll find out tomorrow. There's one office opening. I'll find out if I get it. We'll see. I'm up against 4 people for a random drawing. So I'll use the force.
Use the force. Let's see. Travis says, I got...
Colonel wants to hear the intros. I'm gonna play the intro one more time.
The intro, guys. Oh, my God.
I'm going to play the intro just for people.
I really, truly want to play that intro for the next year.
We can.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
All right, here we go.
Maybe just like once a month.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
I love the X-Wing sounds.
Hello, what have we here?
How hammered was he?
Hello. Oh, there's a C3 penis face and R2 dickhead.
Hello there. Looking? Found someone you have, I would say.
May the force be with you. Fucking hey. You guys are a bunch of jackasses.
I love how Kerner's version of Luke's hello is just so hello.
It was Kerner was just like, hey, what's going on? Hello.
Oh my God.
Pew pew pew.
That was fucking classic. I had to include that. I love it.
I love it. I hate it.
I'm pissed about it.
Dislike it to the absolute extent of and happenings.
Stop, please.
I stopped a long time ago, but 4 years after it, I haven't quit.
Okay. I've had enough.
All right, guys. Thank you. Logan, Kerner, Travis, Sneakers.
And fucko.
And fucko. Fuckums. That's awesome. Appreciate everybody.
We love
really
you guys.
do.
We love you guys.
4 years ago when we started this shit, we didn't even know what the fuck we were doing. We still don't, but it's crazy that you guys listen to us. That, hey, it's just awesome. It really is. It wows me on a daily basis that I'm talking to some jackass farmer from Iowa just discussing Revan versus whatever. And it's across the world.
Jackass from Iowa, a farmer, a UPS driver, fucking Darth Dane from Texas.
Goddamn tugboat.
He's not even in a state. He's in the middle of the goddamn ocean.
Yeah, we got train conductor in Australia. There's a lot of fuckos around, and so we appreciate all and every single fucko.
Thank you, motherfuckers, so much.
All right, guys. More peacing out. Episode 130 is done. We'll talk to you later.